Introduction of the council, Adam,
Hi, I'm Adam. I do the live streaming.
Jim.
Jim Lyons from Joppa Magnolia and a visitor in Gloria Moon's section of District B. And Joppa Magnolia still has their bingos every Wednesday night, so you're all welcome.
Yeah, good. I'm Gloria Moon. And in the back, I do zoning. I love zoning. Is the map of the comprehensive zoning. There's extra copies from Harford of explaining zoning and stuff like that. And there's, if you can read it, there's a spreadsheet with all of the zoning issues for this tab area, Edgewood and Joppa. Help yourself.
Agenda's up there.
Take all you can, yes, ma'am.
When you get a chance, when you get a chance.
Share this extra minutes and extra agendas up here.
Oh, good.
Melissa, Director Edgewood.
All right, thank you.
Bob Hertzog.
Okay, before we go on to our sheriff's office, I have an issue I want to address with the community real quick.
Give you a spare.
Last week's meeting, the county sent Paul Magnus here to get your feedback on where you wanted to have the community. That was Anyway, I did this flyer. Not only did it have the courage to reach out to me like on Friday, I was disturbed I was when I got a personal phone call from someone from the county executive service. Their phone call to me basically from that basically I know we did not have the authority. I was blindsided in the county. I know that I am appointed at the pleasure of the county executive. There is not a compromise. Given the feedback, the county executive will make the final decision.
You are a good person.
I appreciate it.
Good evening, everybody. Did you know? Lock Raven Reservoir in Baltimore County, and the water level is, I guess, about the height of this below where it normally is. But the fact that it's low is not unusual, but 35 days of not raining is very unusual. So what our plan for that particular little pond is, as soon as we are comfortable and confident that the primary problems of the sediment and the runoff and all the things that were coming off of not only the Ridge River development, but that sewer line that they built down past the football field, once they are stabilized, then we'll have a true understanding of what these are. It's just that it has any- there's no water or system for policy. We have to take a look at once we stop the problem and is the design you're absolutely right, and you're pointing out the branches and the tree stuff, all that good stuff. There is, like, however, there is
Like the ones down by Lake Serene and up and down. because right now, County Executive Cassidy isn't gonna like me because I've been having some talks with the Department of Justice about ADA compliant stuff. And
Okay.
that's why I'm asking you, because it's problematic in a lot of parts of the county, just not being set up or being able, not meeting the current requirements under ADA for us.
But if the sidewalks are being overgrown by grass or grass that's creeping into it, that's making it more narrow, that is part of the responsibility of the property owner to do that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they don't normally build them this wide, they build them that wide, then the grass.
Jerry, is there anything we need to do to help with the salting to make the process any faster? Like now you see a lot of people marking off the sidewalk and stuff with fluorescent sticks so y'all equipment don't get damaged and everything, keep the leaves off the storm drains and stuff. Does that stuff really make things easier on y'all? Or?
I think it does. I think it does. When we know what we're working around, it always makes it safer for, our employees to be able to do that.
Thank you for your time.
Speaking of sidewalks, did you ever think of making a sidewalk along roads like Singer? Or in our old Joppa plan, we had paths. And I know when they redid Singer, I said, well, is it possible to put a little walking path when you're redoing a major redoing of a road like they did? And I always got a nope, sorry.
What part of Singer?
Well, it was from Mountain all the way up to 24 is what they redid some years ago.
Okay.
And I always thought, in Joppa, that we would have a walking path from Jerusalem Mill, eventually all the way up to 24. That would have been really nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's really difficult, particularly on the older roads with narrow rights of way. Sometimes we only own the width of the road. We don't even own any right of way outside of it. And it's been either graded with a side ditch or riprap or whatever it might be, rocks. So it's kind of hard and difficult to be able to put those paths in. I do know that our planning and zoning department does have like a master plan for walking trails and paths. We're starting to look at some ideas of sidewalks to build and finding hopefully grant money either from the federal government or the state government in order to find those stretches that are already being walked or might be too dangerous to actually build a path. We're gonna look at things like that. So it's all
Yeah,
a whole bunch of things up in our head.
Be patient, right?
Did you have
Wow.
a question?
I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, are you responsible for what's going up and down 24? What are they doing up there?
A mess.
I'm not responsible, no. No.
You got something to do with that?
But I know a good bit about it. What they're doing is starting with the work on I-95 where they're adding the toll lane, okay? And it's just about finished here at Mountain Road. There's gonna be the northbound lane that'll go up the ramp to get onto Mountain Road. The next phase of construction is going to be to extend those lanes to have something similar to go up to 24 at the interchange in 24. And then they are going to rebuild that interchange and widen 24 out to multiple lanes above Singer Road. Because what they were finding is, even before all this work was going on, all the traffic coming off of 95 in the evenings in particular was backing up on 24 because there wasn't enough, 3 lanes of traffic off of 95 going to 2 lanes of 24, there's not enough room. And so as part of that work, that's what they're already working on, is widening out another northbound lane that'll go all the way up beyond Singer. And the way that the interchange is actually being built, and I just saw the plans the other day, the traffic that comes off of 95 to go north on 24 will go under and loop around, and it won't see a traffic light until Singer Road.
Famous last words.
It's,
You remember when they built 24?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no
The
traffic.
proposed
lights.
24, no traffic
Right.
lights.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Joppa.
do. And that, the interchange in particular.
Right.
That some friends of mine, because I used to work for an engineering firm, we're working on that design of the one that's there now. And I, ooh, this doesn't work. We know it doesn't work.
When I moved here, there was only 3 lights between Joppatowne and Happy Grace.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second. Dion, did you have a question?
Yes,
So coming from Edgewood
yes,
to the intersection of 95
yes.
and the turn to 924, all that's going to be re-engineered?
The part that's gonna be re-engineered is from the, what's it, Edgewood Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the first light. From there, 24 is gonna be widened, and there'll be a turn lane that'll go directly northbound. So that traffic that's leaving, the proving grounds at Edgewood
Right.
Arsenal
Right.
will have its own lane on the right side to be able to get onto 95 going north. So that will be widened at least in that stretch to accommodate the
But you
traffic
still
coming
have
out
to
of the
go
Arsenal.
through all the curves and
No, it
turns.
should be able to, northbound will go straight ahead.
Okay.
Southbound on 95, there'll be a left turn that, right off of where the bridge is. It'll go onto either the toll lane,
Oh,
future toll lane, or
Okay.
regular on the 95.
go ahead, Dion. Go
That
ahead.
should help.
I talked to Chris Litchfield recently, well, we've had this conversation for a long time.
With-
We've had before he even got on
Who'd you
the
talk to?
Siemek. I mean, about Willoughby Beach Road all the way down.
Yes,
You know, that area, that 1 mile plus.
Yep.
up there. He said, he said he was disappointed that he heard that the cost is gonna be a little more than he expected. Can you give us an update? We're trying to widen that 1 mile and then turn left.
I can.
And we own that part, I mean, not us, but the Harford Land Trust owns
They
that
do.
property. And you wanted to be on the left side, but you have to be on the right side because the Turtles won. So we got to be on the right side, then we turn left. And that property going down for almost a mile down to the park is owned by Baltimore Gas Electric. But
Right.
I had commitments, if they're still there, that we can have 8 or 10 feet to do the same thing on that left side. So can you give us an update where that's
I can. We looked at that. Mr. Castley asked us, and again, you and I had talked about it as well. The problem is the stretch of Willoughby Beach Road that goes down to the left turn that goes to the park. The property is owned by Harford Land Trust on both sides. It is all wetlands. It's all high groundwater. It's all critical area. It's natural resource conservation critical area. It's all of the most difficult places to build anything. Anything can be done with creativity and a lot of money, but typically those are the types of areas of construction that the state, because they're the ultimate reviewers of things, will generally not allow unless it's done in a way that doesn't touch the wetlands. Suspension bridge, I mean,
Well, the right side is not as bad as the left side.
but they're both in the same.
But they can do, can't they do a crusher run or something like that?
Nope, because crusher run is considered to be impervious. It's considered to be a road in the MDE world of what you can't build in wetlands.
Was there some kind of pervious surface you could put to be able to walk and ride a bike on? We're gonna, unfortunately, I hope I never see it, but sooner or later, somebody's gonna get hit.
I understand your
It's
concern.
a safety thing more than anything else. I don't know if that overrides it, but that's, that's a narrow
I do.
2-lane road.
I do.
There's no walkway on either side. Remember last year when I went down to that park and I was going down to that event, the Parks and Rec has every year. I go down there and here on the left side, there's this lady pushing a baby in a baby carriage and walking her 4-year-old alongside of it, and she's in the street because there's no place to go. And that's a mile stretch.
I understand.
Then you turn left and you got another mile, and it's not as bad because the main traffic's, and they come down there
I understand.
fast, So,
Yeah.
I don't wanna have,
we-
I told you, I don't never wanna say I told you.
And.
You know what I'm talking about.
Understand, I do. And unfortunately, there's that one particular stretch of the way that the land is and where it's located and what the permit and construction limitations are, gonna make it very, very difficult.
All right, last,
Are you still looking, or still trying to figure out how to do it?
If I can, we'll keep looking for different ideas and ways, but it's not likely.
Yeah.
all right, last question, because then,
Yeah,
Dion,
okay.
anybody?
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
switch the, agenda around just a little bit and let, Dion go up next because he needs to leave early. And for those of you who don't know Dion, I hope you don't mind if I mention, but we'd like to, I'm gonna speak on behalf of the community and send our condolences to his wife Diana, who lost her mom last week. So he's gotta get home to Diane, so.
Yeah, I thank you for that. I got my daughter come over to stay with Diane for a while till I can get back and relieve her. I want to thank you. I've been getting tons of emails and phone calls and everything else. Her mom did pass away last Monday. The viewing is this Saturday at Siemek over on Blair Road from 3 to 5 and 7 to 9 Saturday. I don't know a mother and daughter that closer than those two in my life. They're so close over the years. She lived over on Blair Road for a number, probably 50-some years, and her husband died in father-in-law. And he was a World War II veteran with medals total. He had the Bronze Star. He had 2 Purple Hearts. He had a whole. I got them all framed, hanging in the house. And he happened to die about 7 or 8 years before that. And then she lived there by herself, and she was deteriorating. And every time we go over there, she's lost weight. She's not eating good. This was the way she was in her late 80s. So we said, well, you know, that's going to end. We're going to move you in with us because you're not going to last here by yourself. So we did. We moved her in with us when she was about 86, 87, and she made it to 98. And we were hoping, we did everything we could to prod her and feed her and do what we could to try to get her to 100 because we wanted to honor her at the council chambers, you know, to make 100. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But she certainly enjoyed her last 10 years of her life with us. She loved sitting out on the back porch and watching boats go by and watch the birds and everything else. So we put a little awning out there for her, and she enjoyed her last 10 years, and she was much appreciated. So I really thank everybody for all the attention and good wishes to both of us. Diane's having a little tough time, you know, all of a sudden having to, you know, adjust to this. Had her there 10 years, now all of a sudden, that, you know, the first night they were there after, you know, they had taken her, the silence was deafening. You know what I'm talking about? Because there was that, there was an oxygen machine running every night when you went to sleep. You heard all that, and we couldn't sleep the first. It was so quiet that. But anyway, I really want to thank everybody. It's a really tough time for my wife, and I'm hoping that she'll come around. We'll keep an eye on her too. A couple of things. By the way, we talked about the Plecker property. I didn't want to mention Plecker, but that's the name of the property. I got to tell you a little story about that to loosen things up a little bit. Barbara Plecker was, her and her husband owned that property. That's why it's called a Plecker property. It was a miniature golf and a driving range. And they were going to sell the property, but before that, Barbara Plecker, she came to me when I was on the council before, and she was getting appointed to the liquor board. And she wanted my support to get appointed to the liquor board. And I said, sure, you know, Barbara, you got my support. And put her on the liquor board, and you'll never believe this, but 2 weeks later, she got a DUI. That's no lie.
It's your fault.
It's my fault. Yeah, my fault for putting her on the liquor board. But they wind up putting the place up for sale, and like I said, got almost $3 million for a piece of property that was actually valued at 1.9. And so I challenged the county executive, and I said, wait a minute. I said, why in the world did we pay almost $3 million for a piece of property that's the assessments was 1.9, and so I called over to county executive's office. I want to know why, and they said he sent over the lady that was Craig's administration, and she came over to bring all this paperwork and all. And she's going to tell me how they did this. I said, look, I don't want to hear all this. All I want to know is why you would pay $3 million for a piece of property that's appraised at 1.9. And believe it or not, her answer was, because we can. I said, wait a minute. I said, hold just a minute. What do you mean, because we can? He said, well, because there's nothing in the law that says we can pay what we want for it, but if we sell it, we have to get an appraisal, and then we can't sell it for less than the appraisal, but we can pay what we want. And I says, well, that may be now, but that ain't gonna be tomorrow, because this week I'm introducing a bill that says you cannot pay more than the appraisal. You get 2 appraisals on any property. You can't pay more than the highest appraisal, and you can't sell it for more than the lowest appraisal. And I put the bill in, it got passed, and it's still the law today. And part of that whole deal, by the way, was the fact that Hess had the nut on that property, and they were retiring and going to Florida.
Who?
Hess, he's a,
Dale,
what's his first name?
Dale,
Yeah, Dale Hess. He owns a lot of properties, very well off. He owns a lot of hotels and stuff. And he owned that property, and he was carrying the nut on it. And I don't know how much it was, it might have been $1 million, whatever it was, still hanging out there. So, and they were big supporters of Craig. So what he did was pay the extra $1 million so they could pay off Hess, you know, another buddy of his, pay off Hess. They could pocket $1 million, go to Florida. That's what happened, you know. So anyway, fortunately, now that's been over 10 years ago. Just like Gloria said, over 10 years ago, and she put the I'll give her credit. She put the bug in my ear about a dog park. She's the one that did it. She did, and so I said, oh, it's a great idea. So I got with the county executive Castley about it, and he said, well, how about we need to put a place down there where they can put the shrubs and bushes and that kind of stuff. I said, well, look, there's about 26, 27 acres there. I said, it's pretty big, though. It's a little hilly. We can divide it in half. I said, we can do both. And they did a little engineering check on it. He says, I agree with you. We're going to do that. So that's how we got there. That's how these kind of things happen. So I'm very happy with it. So I've got a update just a little bit on the bridges. You know, we talked about the bridges a lot. The Gunpowder River Bridge and the Bush River Bridge is going to be replaced, along with a lot of bridges from Maryland from Baltimore to New York. They're replacing all the railroad bridges. They're working on one in Havre de Grace right now. The one in Havre de Grace is going to cost it's over. It's $2.1 billion for the Havre de Grace Bridge. It's $30 million for the Gunpowder River Bridge, and it's about $20 million for the Bush River Bridge. But with all that, we're leaning heavy, and I got all kind of politicians helping me with this, that when it's done, they raise it. We're trying to get it up maybe 8, 10 feet more. Because I argue with them, I said, look, these bridges are 120 years old, 125 years old. Back then, I said they only had canoes. They have no power vessels. I says, we're hurting in the area. It's a big reason why the Joppatowne Marina is closed. It is for that similar reason, because they want to bring in big boats to sell them there, and they can't get them underneath the Rumsey Island Bridge, the Gunpowder River Bridge. So they've decided to fold up, and because they're a big outfit all over the world, they got marinas, and they're sitting there now, absolutely vacant, not a single boat there. It's really sad state of affairs. There are some things going on, some negotiations about some things, which I can't allude to now because nothing's official, so I don't want to start any rumors. So anyway, I just got a letter, hot off the press, November 4th today from MDOT, Maryland Department of Transportation. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just touch on a couple. It says, Dear Councilman Guthrie, thank you for your letter regarding Amtrak's Gunpowder River and Bush River Bridge projects. As Secretary of the Maryland State Administration, I am honored to respond on behalf of the Moore Miller administration. And they further on down there, they said, we understand that Amtrak has acknowledged your request for consideration in the project development process. The MDOT will continue to work with you to ensure that the community's voice is heard during the development phase of the bridge's replacement project. thank you again for your letter. We appreciate hearing from you. If you need further assistance, call blah, 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 such and such and such. However, they didn't say anything about raising the bridges, but they know that's what this whole thing represents. So let's hope. There's a bill that's coming up, and it's on the highlights from the county president, Pat Vicente, deal with public hearing, and that deals with Bill 24-031, hotel occupancy tax. I don't support that bill, and neither is, it says here, Riley's on the side. He's not on the side. He ain't supporting the bill, I can tell you that. But it looks like they are probably going to have 4 or 5 votes in favor of it. I don't support it because I don't have any problem with this nonprofit, but that this bill is for. It's for Visit Harford. You've probably heard about Visit Harford nonprofit, but I don't have any problem with it. I mean, they're a good outfit that, they do a lot of good things, but we've got. I don't know how many nonprofits we have in the county. Let's say we have 100, and I might be low, and I probably am. And we got a big one in Edgewood, and there's a lady sitting right back there, way back there in the corner, Bam Bam Miller, who runs one, and that's the 755 Alliance. Just had a big event down a park in Edgewood that I attended, and the point is, this bill only puts money into Visit Harford's pocket, and I have nothing against them. I support all of them, the nonprofits, but why is it fair that we're going to pass a bill and give $800,000 to this Visit Harford when we've got hundreds of nonprofits? I mean, what about all the rest of them? What about 755 Alliance, and what do they do? 755 Alliance and 3 other nonprofits had a big fundraiser up in where was that where it just had that fundraiser?
Legion?
No. Way up in northern part of the county, at the fire hall, and there was 4 nonprofits on there, and they're having that event to raise money for their nonprofit organizations. This one just wants the county to hand them $800,000, and I just can't see how we can single out one nonprofit in the entire county, give them money, and discriminate against all the rest of them. Again, I have nothing against them, but I can't support a bill that does that. And I can tell you, the administration doesn't support the bill either. This is a bill that's reworded from a bill that failed a while back, and it's just very similar. It's clearly will be vetoed, and whether the veto is held up or not, we'll see. But regardless, the administration is not going to consider this because even if it passes, they're not going to consider it because they say it's, and I kind of agree with them, that's a violation of the charter. So if they want to do an argument, then somebody's got to go to court and go up against the charter. So, I mean, that's where that stands. I don't know if Bam Bam Miller's going to talk a little bit about the event. They had an event at Flying Point Park. It was very a lot of fun, very enjoyable, great food, great bands, and for the first shot out of the box, that was great. I believe, I don't want to hold her to it, but I believe next year that she's going to try to put one at Mariner Point Park in Joppatowne and try to go back and forth every year with such an event. And we're looking forward to that. Don't forget tomorrow, voting time. If you haven't voted yet, we all voted a while back by mail ballot. I don't want to go into and have something happen at take my wife. Something happened at the voting, get away from it. So with that, Copley Parish also had their big event. Unfortunately, Copley Parish and Flying Point Park had an event on the same day. So I did hit both of them, and and two very enjoyable days. Enjoyable day for both things. With that, the only thing I want to add about the community center, we need to talk about a community center that's going to benefit the community, and not for people who got personal reasons why they want it somewhere else. We have an excellent spot for it right there in the middle of town is where you need it. It's a community center. It's not a athletic center or any other kind of center. That's what we're looking for next. We want to put one up in the new park for my boy there, and we're going to go after putting another center up there. But community center belongs in the community, where the community can get to it. We've got we got 7 acres dedicated for us and given to us by the school administration, free of charge. That's probably $1 million or $2 million savings right there. The other problem, if you want to talk about up in that new 129 acres that we got into that, there is no roads up there. There is no water up there. There's no sewer up there. If in fact you're even thinking about that would put this project off for years, because the cost to do all that, when right there at the high school, right there on the right-hand side, just as you start into the high school, there's 7 acres there. It's sitting there doing nothing. Perfect place to put it. If you go around to all the other community centers all around the county, there's 14 or 15 of them all over the county. If you look where they are, one of the most recent ones up in Falston, right on 152, look what's right in back of it. There's a school right there. And most of them are all around schools or close to schools. And that's what you want, because when the kids get out of school, they got somewhere to go. We know today's world, the parents work. Both the parents work, kids get out of school 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They need a place to go. Community center's a place, belongs in the middle of the community, not for somebody else's benefit, but the middle of the community. So with that, if there are no questions.
I got
Just one.
Yes, ma'am.
Cause you just said that the community center needs to be close to the school. It's not close to the school in Edgewood. And it's small. Really
Edgewood has 3 buildings. They don't have 1, they have 3. We have none, okay? There's a Boys and Girls Club that's over there by a perfect place for that. Now that they built those 8 sports fields, it's right there with the Boys and Girls Club. You have Copper Mine right there. You have the community center, which is down at the end of what's in
Gateway?
What's that?
Down there in Brookside.
Brookside Drive at the turn. I remember when I was on the council before, I got it enlarged and put a big basketball court, indoor basketball court there. I got that done, but that was already there when I took office. Now there's also a senior center right up the street, another whole building, 3 totally separate buildings. We don't have any.
Yeah, I have a suggestion. Let's just table the community center for tonight. We
Good.
sent the feedback to the county. Let's wait until the county comes back to us, takes the feedback and tells us what they think is the best opportunity, because
Okay,
let's just wait for that.
I'm game.
Okay.
I have just one comment about Visit Harford. You stuck me on the budget advisory board for our lives.
Yes.
They have been given over the years, the county executive and the administration gives contributions to groups, nonprofit groups throughout the county for whatever reason they want. And Visit Harford got that money continually. And it wasn't until, I think, 2 years ago that now all of a sudden they want it mandated that they receive it. It's altogether different from a contribution to an employee status with no employer.
Yeah,
My thing with them is, Visit Harford, from when you had did your bill about the hotel tax, I do not understand, how can you give money to an organization or entity that's supposed to be promoting Harford County when they're giving money out to different things, and like all of them were there complaining about, oh, well, if you take the hotel tax money and we do this wedding and we do that at Ladue Gardens and da. What is you doing, Visit Harford? You're not getting the word out about stuff like Bang Tam's event and everything across to the other counties. You're not getting it out to the other groups that would be interested in something like that in the state, much less over in Delaware and stuff. So they're not making that money bring back any business or anything that's, if every year you go up to the Juneteenth festival and it's still the same couple people there. Meanwhile, folks in Delaware, I ain't know y'all got nothing, right across the state line. They just ripping the county off. They're not making sure that the people they're giving the money to is actually bringing tourists in to spend money here and bring us anything back. No, they don't need to be getting the money. Keep that money in the county where it's gonna do the most for the people up here in this room. They don't need it.
You know, the other part of this is that they have, whoever is the president of that group, okay, got paid a really good salary. I mean, they're talking about $800,000, and they paid the chair $120,000.
Oh, yeah,
And they got a couple board members, they pay money too. And that's what it's all about. If you had a business and you only were bringing in $800,000, okay, are you gonna pay somebody $120,000 to run it? I don't think so. You know, you wanna ask Bam Bam Miller how much she gets? She runs hers? How much you get? There's a zero coming up. And there's the problem, you know, that's not fair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Say hi to Diana.
Sorry, I gotta run back. I gotta leave my car.
Yeah, that Visit Harford thing make my blood
Okay,
run.
Cynthia, you're up.
I did see.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia Lynch from the Harford County Council. County Council highlights. This is all and the meetings that happen in October, the whole month of October. And I'd like for you, when you're looking through it, to pay attention to the red lines, because that will show you the November, public hearing. And that you can go to.
Rob, Lenora Robinson had another engagement tonight, so Rob Wagner is going to cover for her. And Rob, if you want to combine both of your reports like that in the Southern County
Sure,
Sheriff.
I can do that, because on Lenora's side, the messages from the county executive, wires got a little bit crossed up today, and I don't bring anything down tonight for him, so.
Okay, you want to come up here?
No, I'm good right here, I think everybody can hear me. I'll report on the Harford Square camera project. I got notice the other day that they have completed the fiber routing and the materials list for Harford Square cameras, so it's moving slowly, but it's moving, and when it finally does get moving, it's gonna move right along very quickly. So they're assembling everything. Working to coordinate the partners to implement the tree plantings for the spring of 2025. That came through an urban tree grant that was in connection with the 755 Alliance. Trees will be planted at Edgewood High, Edgewood Middle, Presbyterian Church, and Edgewood Assembly of God, and also Magnolia Elementary School under this program. The Joppa Heritage Corporation, as some of the ones in this room know, that we met last week and talked about developing the Friends of Gunpowder State Park, which will be part of that Joppa Heritage Corporation, and also the Rumsey Island folks, so that we can go through the state and actually ultimately develop a trail system that goes along the Gunpowder State Park area going back into Rumsey Island. The shorelines at the West Shore community are in a discussion phase right now with the state of Maryland, the Isaac Walton League, and Harford County, to see how we can best address the erosion issue at that shoreline. And there's continuing discussions with some potential redevelopment plans for the Joppa Market shopping area. I drove through Edgewood, I guess it was Friday last week, and I was thinking, and I bring it to you only to say, I hope with all the efforts that Harford County is making in this Southern County area, I hope you can visually see or feel a difference or an impact. Because some of the streets I rode down the other day, and I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, well, you know, they've improved. We're doing more street cleanings, but it also falls back on the residents to do more as well. I'm not so sure, but I think maybe we've picked up a little bit of momentum from the folks in the community to take a little more pride in where they live, because it did look better than what I've seen in the past. So I just throwing it out there that if you see an improvement or you're seeing something or a positive impact, pass it along, let us know, be glad to hear the feedback. Okay? Thank you all very much and have a good Thanksgiving.
Rob, I think one of the things that Leonora probably would have brought up, I still have some flyers, is that Veterans Resource Fair.
That's right on my notes here. Yeah, the Veterans Resource Fair is Saturday at the Bel Air Armory. That will run from 10 to 1.
Yep.
And the Harford Square Clubhouse is reopening. There's a celebration there on Saturday as well from, 4 to 7, right? Okay. So yeah, the Veterans Fair is at the Bel Air Armory, and that's always a good
Yeah, there's some
resource.
flyers for that appeal.
Good resource for any veteran that needs any kind of assistance or help or clarification on programs.
Thank you,
Great.
Rob.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? When you said about the erosion
Right?
at West Shore, you talking about that
Back
wetland
on.
back there?
Yeah.
And what are y'all talking about doing back there?
Trying to figure out how to do something with it so it slows up the erosion, because that Isaac Walton League owns the property. It's right up against that shoreline.
Okay.
It's not county property, it's not your property, it's Isaac Walton. If you look at a map, Isaac Walton owns all that along that shoreline. So we're trying to figure out how to get some funding and work through the, might be federal programs before it's over, to try to figure out how to not eliminate, but at least reduce the amount of erosion that you're seeing, because you're losing that shoreline. So yeah, we've already contacted those at the state, county's aware of it, and we're in discussions about that to try to figure out what to do.
Okay.
So, Mr. Ron, I got a question for you. What is going on with the Southern County in terms of from business and economics? Because we're working the ground and trying to get things cleaned up because you attract more people with a beautiful environment and stuff. But yet here we sit, getting ready to have another hole in the community when the Big Lots is gone. I thought that the purpose of having the lady from economic development and Mr. Raj and them at the second Southern Task Force meeting was so that they can begin to look at some of this stuff. Because now you're gonna have more dead space. You still have the Mars sitting there. Meanwhile, today, I'm talking to the people again at Mercy about they're expanding, they're putting Mercy Physician Cares all throughout the state now. We don't have anything up here. And their employees was like, ooh, yeah, I would love to come up there and work it and stuff. But what happened? You passed information along to y'all. We ain't got no economic development. You can't live where you can't get or make money.
We're trying to push a boulder up a hill here, because businesses leave for many different reasons. I know the Big Lots, that was a corporate decision. It wasn't necessarily a local decision. It was corporate that's pulling it out. And I know it's a big hole. We've talked to Upper Chesapeake about added services down here. I know Cecil Health comes down here a couple days a week. There's another one that I spoke with, and I can't pull the name up right now, but they are getting involved and have been down this way. You know, those that own the shopping centers, unfortunately, that's not their main concern. They'd rather see them sit empty than to be full, which doesn't make sense to me, but then I don't own the shopping centers. The shopping centers, you would think you would want to get some amount of rent regardless of what you put in them and fill up the spaces. That's not necessarily the way that they see it, or that's their business model doesn't reflect that. We're trying as hard as we can in an economic element out there that's not really the best right now to try to get people. I mean, economic development is working every day trying to find businesses to come down here, and this area is the #1 priority. So we're working at it, but you've got to get somebody to bite at the apple and say, yeah, I'll do that. You're not finding that person to show up, that business to come in. And you're right, we're losing them as time goes on. We're not gaining anything back. And we understand we need to, it's just a matter of attracting that business that wants to settle here. So we're trying.
But the people at Trader Joe's, I had brought Trader Joe's up one of those meetings. And it was a movement on the app neighbors and everything. People, we contacted them, they contacted, you know, they hadn't heard about the area. They contacted their land acquisition people and stuff, made them aware of us and everything. But they said they ain't heard from nobody in the government. Nobody's inviting them. Nobody's sending, show them some land in the Southern Territory. We've already, as customers, pointed out, look, the closest one, Trader Joe's, is all the way out Towson. You can draw people in from Perry Hall, White Marsh, Cecil County. We've done that, but what are y'all? People need jobs. People need to get food. Forget it. Let's go.
I was gonna say, I'll piggyback off of her because I personally went to Trader Joe's in Towson and Grouse Marsh.
Right.
And I tried to pull some weight after the last conversation that was held, that we have these empty spaces, we don't have proper resources in the community, we have communities tearing it up. So what was our silver lining? They said that we had to get the company to have a conversation with Cornish. Is it any way that we can get Cornish at one of these meetings?
Yes.
I doubt it.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that's who, he's, well, not Cordish himself, but John Peters is willing to come. I've talked to him about it.
Cordish won't come.
No, Cornish himself, you'll
He'll
never,
send his,
yeah.
his honchos.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get somebody
his
out.
We'll get somebody from, yeah, go ahead.
All right,
Baby.
I just wanted to- I just wanted to follow up on the suggestion about having like medical services and things out here. The University of Maryland system that established a little center right there at Woodbridge Station. Right. Well, the Monday is the walk-in to make your appointment so they can refer you to the physician's primary care. And then the other days are for appointments that have been made. Well, they've reached out to our organization to see how they can get more traction because the service is underutilized. And unless it's utilized and maxed out, they're not going to expand and hire people to staff other locations. So our residents here are so used to going to urgent care, patient first, and so they're not utilizing that center. So if they, you know, they'll say, oh, I went there on a Thursday and they're closed. They're not closed, they only have appointments. So you have to go walk in on Monday to make the appointments to see and get referred. So they, you know, they talk to us about how to get that message out.
Can you help with marketing? I can help you with marketing.
Well, I mean, it's not so much me, but they are asking for help.
Yeah,
So my point is, if it's not utilized, if our people are used to going to patient care and, patient first and urgent care, they're not gonna change their practice.
But at the same time, you have people that, no offense, I'm sick and I'm done with the University of Maryland medical system. You almost killed me. You put a stent in and it was crushed when you put it in. So outside of my primary care doctor, all we have up here, you have the one MedStar place, and you got everything else. Big wise is University of Maryland. Whereas you have other caring doctors and stuff out there, you have Mercy, you have Ascension and stuff. Why not give people a variety instead of keep forcing the same thing down their throat?
Well, I can just speak about that one because they reached out to us and said, listen, we would love to expand into those places. The other issue that we have, and I know this as a business owner in a plaza that we lease, if the landlord, several grocery stores have tried to occupy the Mars and the old Giants and all of that, but if the landlord will not sell the property, because like you talked about Trader Joe's, a lot of
came to our meeting.
They came to
They
this
came to our meeting
meeting
and
and
talked to us.
gave out flyers, and we even posted their flyer, but I mean, you know, so, well, maybe we can get together and do, Angie can help us.
You have comments?
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of is the fact that urgent care and places like that are open 7 days a week. All right, so I don't know about you, but I don't particularly know on Monday that I'm gonna get sick on Thursday. Okay, so I don't need to go in there on a Monday to make an appointment for a Thursday. Unless, of course, all they have is specialty people there, like, you know, you got your heart doctor, your gastroenterologist. Then that type of stuff I can understand they need to set up the appointment for. But most people, when they go to the urgent care or primary care or something else like that, that's because they're sick then.
Right. We did talk about that, and that is the next step that they want to create, is an urgent care type facility in this corridor. And we talked about the sports complex, and if kids get hurt, this is great for them to come through. So we've had that discussion. It's just that they said before they can invest money to put something there, there has to be, I guess, a need or desire. So it's kind of like which came first, the egg or the chicken, right? So I don't have a magic wand, but I wanted to respond to that issue.
All right. Oh, if we have enough of that, Ron, you're up.
Thank you. Give me a little bit of time here. So I spent all day today in a Mid-Atlantic Life Safety Conference. A lot of information came out tonight. The first thing I'm going to talk about, though, got 3 flyers back there. Weather's getting cooler. Space heaters. There's some information on space heaters, and I will tell you this right now. We've already had 1 fire due to a space heater. Okay? In a home in Edgewood. We also have one in Aberdeen. There's another thing out there, that 10 tips. Forget ahead of the winter freeze, okay? Things to check on. Some things you may not think about. It's also back there. These are all put out by National Fire Protection Association. And last but not least, turkey safety. I can tell you right now, Thanksgiving Day, we're gonna get at least 4 calls of turkey fire.
Yep.
Can't even say that fast. Don't put a turkey that's frozen or even has ice or water on it in the fryer. I'm probably speaking to the choir here, because most of you, if you do it, you know what you're doing. The problem is the people that don't know what they're doing. Okay, and that's what the problem is. So there's information there on that. A couple things we did talk about that I did do at the safety conference today. That was very interesting. We talked one about CO detectors, and I didn't realize this, but Maryland has a law. You need a CO detector in every single home, even whether you have fossil fuel or not. I didn't know that. That came up today at one of the sessions. They're also talking about there's a program out, and I'm going to look into it, about getting grants for the CO alarms, as well as we have a grant for smoke alarms. I'm going to see what I can do about getting CO detector for those that need them. Those that can't afford them, we'll put them in. And there was a big discussion on where it should go. And the Maryland powers to be, so it'd be a fire marshal's office and chiefs associations, are all getting together to determine the best placement for them. I will tell you this though, the fire marshal made a speech today, and somebody asked him about the dual smoke alarms. A lot of people buy, save you money, put them on the ceiling. He does not like them. He's trying to outlaw them in Maryland. Okay. The reason being, if CO gets that high, and most ceilings are 7 to 8 foot high, some are higher, guess what? You're dead. You're dead. I was put it out there mildly because we have adults here, I don't have any kids. But basically, you know, you're dead. That CO gets that high. CO should be low, 18 to 24 inches off the floor. Your detectors. A couple fires of recent in Edgewood Road. Had one at the end of last month that I never got a chance to talk about. Well, actually in September. I forgot what it was, but anyway, a 4-year-old playing with a light.
Yeah.
Unattended 4-year-old playing with a light. I don't know how the 4-year-old can get those lights, but I can't get them to work. So they would be safe to them. So anyway, unattended child playing with a light. Get that in your head. Unattended child. This is what the problem is. Parents, we're not watching our children. And I'll put it out there. I mean, that's what causes it. We had another one up in Cecil County, and the reason I put it in there because it has to do with what we talked about here. And there was one in Edgewood, two in Cecil, and one in Aberdeen. Discarded ashes. Improperly discarded ashes, whether it be from a fireplace, a grill, whatever. The one gentleman was saying that he had to go, he thought the fire was out, put it outside. Guess what? 2 o'clock in the morning, his house caught fire. Because the winds got in the very dry conditions, the flames moved, the fire in the fire pit moved on, something discarded, moved toward the house, burned up the side of the house. There was another one in Harford County, this was in Bel Air, $200,000 worth of damage. It was a small fire. Accidental due to improperly discarded ashes. Okay. I don't make this stuff up, it comes right from the fire marshal's office. But I do want to get the point across. And there was one more recently in Edgewood. No, Abingdon, right on the corner from me, and I'm putting it out there. What have I talked about, besides smoke alarms, what have we talked about a lot lately? Lithium-ion batteries, scooters and stuff.
And the toys.
Apartment building, right behind me, had a scooter charger on the deck. $35,000 to the house, the deck, and inside the apartment building. Luckily, somebody found it. Now, the problem with that is, the scooter cannot just be tossed away. The hazmat team has to be called out now to discard that scooter because of the hazmat that's left behind from lithium-ion batteries. You're going to see more and more of this over the next maybe year or so, and there's another thing we talked about, that the hazmat part of lithium-ion batteries. Okay? Do not keep them plugged in at night if you have a lithium-ion battery. Once they're charged, unplug it and make sure it's properly sitting. Some of them, they have to sit up, whether you've got a portable scooter, whether it's an electric chair, whatever you get around with. Be very, very careful with them. National Fire Protection Agency is looking at these lithium-ion batteries again because there's more to it than meets the eye. So you want to be very careful with those. The other thing we talked about at the conference was, is educating the public more on what's going on. Well, we talk about community risk reduction. A lot of people in Maryland don't do the community risk reduction. And the difference between that and fire prevention, I'm going to put it out here, you all. So there's a big difference because you see a lot of this out there. You're going to see CRR over a lot of things, and the fire marshal is pushing this out. Community risk reduction is more than fire prevention because now, as a matter of fact, let me finish this. I've told you one. I've been up since 5. Because we talk about smoke alarm, we talk about the lithium-ion battery, but we also talk about aging. Okay. 30 years ago, there was a video put out called Slip, Strips, and Falls. Tom Bosley was a narrator. Most of you know that. The difference between 30 years ago when people were 60, come forward to 2024 now and people are 60, you have different ideas and different things going on. More people have this technology now than had it 30 years ago. Okay. And we talk about the risk because of that, and it's more than slip, trips, and falls. And maybe one day I'll be able to come in and do a presentation once I get everything downloaded. But there's different segments of this program now. It's basically called Staying Safe. Okay, they've taken away the slip, trips, and falls. That's still part problem with the elderly, but it's also a problem for all of us. If you live in an apartment, a house, or by yourself with other people, electric cords. I can't tell you how many times we go in a house and see electric cords underneath chairs, underneath rugs. See outside lights, people put down a rug so people walk over them while the lights are outside. That's not a very good idea. And one thing is because people walk on them, that rubber's eventually going to wear out. Number 2, moisture gets under there. Put the moisture together with the wearing of the cord, and you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a fire. And I see it all the time. I see it with Halloween lights. I see it with Christmas, with Thanksgiving, everything like that. So you want to be very careful out there when you're putting this cord in. Check your cords. Many of us, like myself, I just started throwing away a lot of my decorations because the cords are dry rotting. And mainly because they sit in my attic 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year, so the heat dries them out, so I just get rid of them. Okay, so check them, wherever you keep them, check your cords before you put up a tree, whether it's artificial or a real tree. Be careful what you put up. If it's a real tree, it should be watered at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. Okay, I know we're getting toward that holiday season. Everybody's gonna be out there hustling and bustling. Pay attention to what's going on in your house. Pay attention to your children, please. Okay, the fire starter, these young kids is picking up. It's getting worse and worse. This was a 4-year-old. We had a 5-year-old several months back. Same thing, playing with a lighter in his bedroom, caught the bed on fire. These are things that I'm trying to get across to everybody as far as the community and the risk reduction. We want to reduce the risk for things happening. And I'll be getting out more and more, to different homes, to different areas, churches and groups. And we have a lot of assisted homes in this area, or assisted living homes, as well as, they're not called assisted living, but they're elderly home where you got 3 or 4 floors. Okay, and a lot of people in these buildings cannot get out. You need to have an escape plan, as well as any of your private houses too. But they need to have an escape plan and practice it. And the guy, one of the things was telling us, and he had with his son, and he's got a son and a daughter, they're both teenagers. And he decided to practice the fire escape plan. He sets the alarm off, nobody's moving. They're in their rooms. You know, I think we see that. Sometimes the adults are doing that too. Or watching TV or watching a football game. He did it a second time, 3 days later. Nothing. The kids just don't become complacent when that alarm goes off. Whether it be a school building, an office building, or your home. And by now, everybody should have changed their batteries. Because last week we just changed our clock and we changed the batteries. I don't want any calls 3 o'clock in the morning because my smoke alarm's chirping. You've been warned, okay? I can't tell you how many calls we've had already of smoke alarm, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Smoke alarm going off, or seal alarm going off, faulty alarm. If they're more than 10 years old, replace them. It's a cost, yes. What price do you put on your life, your family's life? I'll leave it there. Okay, yes, it's a cost. And the ones we put in the 10-year battery ones. If you have a hardwired alarm, I cannot replace a hardwired alarm with a 10-year battery one. And I have 2 friends that have rentals in Baltimore County that I work with at the school system up here. They have rentals. I put in some 10-year battery ones. Fire inspector told them, doesn't pass inspection. Because they had supposed to have hardwired ones on each floor, and what they did, they took the hardwired ones out and just put in the 10-year battery. I thought they were covered. I told them not to do it after I put them in. They took them down anyway. But this is what happened. They came back and said, "You were right, Ron." You know, the fire marshal did not, the inspectors did not allow us to keep, to put the holiday, not approve it until the 10-year, the regular hardwired alarms were put up with a new alarm. Okay? Heed the warning. That's all I gotta say. Any questions for me?
Yes, I got
Yes.
I got two.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam. So you were mentioning the staying safe, you're talking about coming here to do one, but is there an opportunity for you to come out like to a community? I have
Yes, it
a
is.
good amount of.
Yes, it is. I have put down for this brand new.
Okay.
If you get time to let me, I'll be glad to come out to the communities. We can come out and do it. We've done, generally, I've done a few of these assisted livings in Bel Air and stuff, and elderly. Because remember, there's 3, 4-story buildings that have elevators. Smoke alarm goes off. Guess what happens at that elevator? It locks out, comes right to the first floor. So have a plan. If you cannot walk down the steps, if you can't come down on your butt, you can't get out, have a plan. And if you need me to come out and talk to the owners, or if anybody here knows of any of these places, I'm more than happy to come out to enter because they are inspected once a year. They're supposed to have an evacuation plan and a plan for those that cannot get out. If they're in a wheelchair, if they're in a lift chair, if they can't walk, they're bedridden. And you know, when the place is first opened, you know, normally the person that's ambulatory can go from that 4th floor. After a while, they start selling, when people move, now you've got a person that's bedridden on the 4th floor. How's that person going to get out? We need to know that because I can put that information in our information system. I get it from them. We put it in that this particular building, in this particular apartment or room, X, Y, Z, has a bedridden person on the 4th floor that's located on the 4th floor, this room. We put that in the system, the fire, police, EMS or dispatch, that information goes to them to let them know we've got someone up there that needs assistance. And you call it disabled or whatever. And the other thing is that we talk about, and
We got a question here.
when we talk about the getting out,
Right.
the ability, concentrate on your ability. This is, I push this all the time, we talked about this today. Concentrate on your ability, not your disability.
Okay.
What you can do. I know you had a question.
We can skip ahead here. Go ahead.
So two things. I bought a 5-year battery 8 months ago, and it's already tripping. So we
It's a 5-year battery?
yeah, 10-year battery.
10 years.
10-year battery. But 8 months
You gave
later,
I ever ready?
I got it from Home Depot. When I paid the bill, I
No. They have to take them back.
take it back. Okay.
Yep.
My main one, my main one was I heard today about because of whatever happened at APG that we can't use our fireworks.
Well, I should have said it right. There is a red flag alert for the state of Maryland. Mostly on the eastern side, our side of the state. Northern end, western end, is that there's a red flag, and it's a no burning order that's out there right now from the fire marshal and DNR. No outside burning.
Well, I got a Girl Scout troop, so how that's gonna work for me?
No campfire. And what happened at APG, I can tell you, it was something, I talked to the fire marshal that covers APG, and his friend of mine. Basically, something had started. They don't know how it started, but with the winds and everything so dry, it spreads so quickly. And I can't tell you how many calls we had out there with smoke in the area, smoke in the area. I had 3 of them in Abingdon when I got home that afternoon.
Yeah, we got a call from
Yep. And it was just, I mean, you gotta remember, the air's colder, the smoke's gonna stay closer to the ground. Unfortunately, but the wildfires, they had them basically under control. They're wildfires, but all that was coming from APG, from their work area.
Jim, you have anything you want to add to what you
Yeah,
start off?
just, I ran some totals for the 12 months from October 1st of last year to September 30th of this year. And the Joppa Magnolia ambulances, which are now county paid, except for, we still run some volunteer as we have the chance, but they don't dispatch the volunteers. But there were 6,129 ambulance runs out of Joppa Magnolia, House 1, House 3, mostly, all right? And fire runs were 1,999. And there may be, on like a house fire, we may have 2 engines and a ladder truck, so there's 3 runs for that, but the combinations is 2,000 runs of the fire apparatus. And interesting total, our rescue engine 8, which is set up to handle automobile accidents and PIs, was 163 runs. Abingdon's rescue 4 was 174 runs. That's basically one every other day. And it's pretty well close. You can take this whole section of 95 in Harford County, from Joppa to Havre de Grace, and at least once a day there's an accident on 95 being handled. All right, so be careful. I'll reinforce the lithium-ion batteries. I'm getting reports. Philadelphia and New York City are 2 examples of apartments, high-rise. People with 12 floors, 9 floors, and they got electric bikes, electric scooters, and they're having a fire a day at least, and some of them are right serious. A guy out of South Carolina used to belong to Norrisville, and they just had 2 more calls in the last week with lithium-ion batteries. They caught fire and did some damage. So if you got a grandkid or your own senior citizens got them, unplug them at night when you go to bed. I don't care if you've been using it all day and it's dead. Unplug that lithium-ion battery, the electric bike, the electric scooter, whatever. Please unplug it. Because by the time you wake up, it'll be off to the races, even if you have a smoke detector.
Okay. Is anybody here from Aaron Penman's office? Okay.
Hi, I actually don't have my name's Lauren.
I'm sorry,
I
Lauren.
don't have a detailed update tonight. He just asked me to bring back if there was any concerns. But I do want to reiterate the resource fair on Saturday. That's something that our office has been working on, Councilman Penman's been working all year. If you're a veteran, know a veteran, it's a great event. Variety of resources and information, health, housing, employment, 10 to 1 Belleville Armory this Saturday.
Okay, thank you. Is anybody here from Andre Johnson's office? All right, what do you got, Adam?
All right, hang on. I hope I'm in this shot. I have no idea. We'll see. All right, good enough. All right. First things first. I saw the online stream. Didn't see this. I saw the flyer for the community center thing. I'm not going to talk about the vote or not the vote. I will say I called Parks and Rec. The people that I talked to at Parks and Rec, very high up, they said it was very clear last month. Paul went back and he told everybody at Parks and Rec the community clearly wants the recreation center at Foster Branch Park. I thought that was a very obvious thing that we all kind of knew what the sentiment was last month. Parks and Rec agrees. So there's that. So we'll see how that goes. We can't guarantee anything, but they know what the community wants. We've made our voice heard. I'm in a nest, a literal nest up here now of computers and cable, one cable and one microphone. It does not have, guys, it's 2024. It doesn't have to be like this. 30 years ago, not that many people had technology like this in their pockets. Well, you know, we could go somewhere where there are microphones and cameras, plural, and have a meeting where we could communicate with people online. It doesn't have to be this way. I apologize for all the live stream trouble tonight. I would like to not do it, and I would love to train people how to live stream. And there's a place that we can go for free that is more than willing to host us. So please let the county executive know that if you can't make a meeting because you're sick, or if I can't make a meeting because I'm sick, we would still like to have a live stream. Because that conversation we had with Paul last week is fully available online, and we can go to the county and say, look at what the community said we want. This is important. It keeps our government officials accountable. A record, as thank you, Bob, for doing the minutes, but a record of people standing up and impassionately saying this is what we want is what we need to make sure that our government functions correctly. This meeting, in regards to the whole vote conversation, this meeting is not as much of a town hall as we would like it to be, as we, I think, collectively would like it to be. This meeting is the county executive saying, I want to know what the community is thinking, and then we go to the county executive or the administration, and if they agree with us, then good, they will do it. We don't have any voting power, we don't have any petition power. We can make the petition, we can make a recommendation, but there's nothing that becomes force of law. Next week, the Joppa Development and Heritage Corporation is, like the 755 Alliance, are two big organizations that actually just try to do things that are citizen-led, community-led. And I will echo what Rob said. Rob came to our meeting last week, and we've been working with Parks and Rec at Harford County. We've been working with the state government state park and DNR to potentially get a whole new, brand new park for Joppatowne. That's something that citizens have said, we want to do this. We are filling out the paperwork to become the friends of yet to be named park, possibly Port of Joppa Historical Park or something like that. We can do this if we work together. We don't have to get to a point where we say, hey, we would like to, whatever. The government and the citizens can work together. We can do that kind of thing. I really highly encourage, if you would like to be a part of that effort, that you come to the Joppatowne Christian Church building at 725 Turnbull Road at 6 o'clock next Monday. It is Veterans Day, but we will have a meeting that night. Joppatowne High School is having their musical Emma JV based on the Jane Austen novel, but with a lot of current music. Thursday the 21st, Friday the 22nd at 7 p.m. Also Saturday the 23rd at 2 p.m. If you're looking to do fun stuff in our community, because we don't have a whole lot of fun stuff going down on this side of the county, I run a trivia game every Sunday night. I would love to see it more popularly attended. It's fun, it's free. You can come out and meet some new people and just enjoy fun in the community.
Can I win Friday?
you can win prizes, and you can,
We won yesterday.
and every once in a while you can get a question right too. So I had some teams complaining last night. I'm gonna try to make it a little easier. The homeless shelter is starting. Obviously, it's getting colder now. A lot of people ask me about, hey, what about this person? What about that person? Unfortunately, until we hit January, the beds for the county are capped at about 36 for most people. There's 6 beds for women in the Welcome One Emergency Shelter. Once we hit January 3rd, the rotating homeless shelter will start. There will be at least 30 more beds available. Last year we did not fill all 30, but we might see it this year. We'll see. There are at least 4 churches down in this side of the county that are going to be hosting or working with us. Joppatowne Christian Church is hosting the first week and then another week in February. New Hope United Methodist Church, if they get their day shelter built, they will be the day shelter. Presbytery United Methodist Church, Crosspoint Community Church, and Zion Temple Church, Highway to Holiness, right near Aldi. All of us are working together to try to make sure that there are people who have a place to go and at least be warm, safe, and fed. Zion Temple Church is actually going to use the Joppatowne Christian Church building to run their week of the shelter because their building is not big enough to do it. So if you know a church that would love to do it but just doesn't have the facility, I hear Joppatowne Christian Church is nice. I hear that they would even let people come and let a live stream happen and you could hear it and see it. And they sound like fantastic people, those people over there at Joppatowne Christian Church. All right. 2 more things. The blood drive that we've been working with in Joppatowne is now going to move away from Joppatowne Christian Church and into Joppatowne High School. If we get 40 people to donate at that drive, a high school senior gets a $250 scholarship. So on Friday, January 24th, if you have blood and can give, please come by. Also, we are Joppatowne Christian Church and others, whoever, I don't care, it doesn't have to be us. We're working on this thing called Local Learn. We're going to try to introduce classes to teach people basic life skills, whatever it may be. We've had changing a car tire. Gloria is maybe willing to do a canning class.
Yes.
So if you want to learn how to can and preserve food for the apocalypse and stuff like that, you can do that. We have a lady who would love to teach young kids how to write and read cursive. So, but the one that's actually on the calendar right now is on Monday, January 27th, we're going to have a class in partnership with APGFCU called Budgeting for the New Year. So if you know somebody who needs a budgeting class, that one's going to be at the JCC building on Monday, January 27th. Gary Stapleton is going to come down and he's going to teach that class. So we're trying to do that. But if you have a class in mind, I'm going to be out at the election tomorrow asking people, what do you want to learn? What do you want to teach? We're welcome. You don't have to be a member of our church to do it. We just want to try to make our community a little bit better. So if that's something that's of interest to you, please come out and do it. Sorry I talked for a long time. I really enjoyed being outside of the nest for a couple minutes. So thank you. We'll move on with it.
Zoning, if you have any questions, bring them next month, or you can get in touch with planning and zoning, or you can actually get in touch with Friends of Harford at gmail.com. They'll answer your questions in English.
I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight and wish everybody a very safe and a blessed Thanksgiving. Already holiday season, and this year we just coincide because Hanukkah starts Christmas Eve. Yeah, so, hang on, hang on. When we finish here, we'll come to the community.
Okay, so a few things, and I'll make them very, very brief. When we were at Music at the Point, so the festival that 755 Alliance put on, it was a question raised about our community advisory board. They wanted to know if there were any vacancies.
Yeah, they just, like I said before, they just have to,
I went ahead and listened, sorry.
they just have to call Cindy Mundy and she'll get them an application, and just call the county and just get an app, or I think you can go online to the county website and there's applications and there's always a vacancy on the board.
So I wanted to address that because it was more strict to me.
Yeah, no problem.
Aside from that, we do have a official Girl Scouts troop in Edgewood. Everybody is invited. So you're down to Joppatowne, Edgewood. We are 04433. That is our troop number. We have been doing amazing things. We have 50 slots available. Wow. But of the 50, we have already filled 25.
got me.
be able to pre-order.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, we'll be able to pre-order, so they'll be on the ground February and March. It's a short window, but we'll make sure y'all get your cookies.
And we can do it here? We can bring them here?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm bringing cookies to the meeting.
To the
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Hang on for a second before we get to the, hang on for a second.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I have one more thing to add from online. Tiara Daniels said the new HOA in Harford Square is doing a wonderful job, and the clubhouse is open. So if you are part of that HOA, please make sure you make use of the clubhouse there.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
All right, so Joppatowne Rec Council is going to be hosting One Town, Our Town, Christmas Town. It's going to be at Mariner Point Park on the 14th from 2 to 8 p.m.
December 14th.
Yeah.
December
That's
14th.
you have that thing for my birthday, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, December 14th, there's going to be pictures with Santa, Christmas tree decorating, sleigh rides, local vendors, so spread the word. We're going to have lights and things scattered throughout the park. We'll be doing hay rides, and it'll be a nice day.
What's it called? We'll be all
It's
You know what? That's
Christmas
the second
Town.
time I've heard
Christmas
that.
Yeah, Bob Coffee American Legion.
with the E.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
For a shameless plug, because it's been mentioned the whole meeting, but I'm gonna do it one more time. Harford Square is having a reopening, and it's not just for those who are in, that live as residents, we also will be running out our clubhouse.
Yeah, one at a time, because otherwise we can't hear what she's saying, I'm sorry, start again.
So the reopening of our clubhouse has been closed for 5 years since right before COVID. So, and with the help of a lot of folks in here, we've been making progress in Harford Square. So we're also gonna be opening up for rentals for people who wanna have meetings and things like that. We have we do have Wi-Fi, we do have mics and speakers, so if people need a place to rent to do that, we're opening up for that as well. But we're also gonna be acknowledging folks in the county and community organizations who have helped us along the way in 24 and what we plan on doing in 25. No, the pool is not open. We are working on things, but we want to recognize those who've helped us and what we plan on doing. So please, if you have a moment, next, on Saturday from 4 to 7, come out, celebrate with us. We invite you all out to come see what we've been doing. And thank you all for the support.
Thank you. Anybody else on this, hang on a minute, anybody else on this side, Bianca?
I just wanted to say that, the 755 Alliance has concluded the majority of our events for the year, so now we can rest. We're actually in our, early planning stages for our community garden that's going to be built at the American Legion, and we're gonna name that after the, deputy, so we'll have a big grand, ribbon cutting in the spring when we plant. And then we're also working with the county and the Chesapeake Bay Trust to
I work with a nonprofit called Revive Us Ministries. You're shaking your head, you know us. And we go out, right now we're in Aberdeen every Wednesday, every Saturday. We go to motels and we feed the homeless in Festival Park. They're very, very excited to come to the Joppa Edgewood area. There are people that are in need. They did go to Motel 6 this past weekend. So if you see people out there, they have a fantastic relationship with Wegmans, who donates food. Wawa donates food. Sprouts donates food. Everything is donated. It goes to the people. And then look on, I posted on Joppatowne Online Community. I would like to also add it to Edgewood. Whenever they have leftover food, they give it to me. We go to Joppatowne Christian Church and we open it up for anyone that needs it. You don't have to tell us how much money you made. We don't get your information. Like, you literally just come in, and we've had a couple people the past few Wednesdays, the same people, some elderly people that come in and get food, and it's like bread, milk. We've had vegetables, all kinds of stuff. So just if you do see people in groups with coolers kind of hanging out at a motel, you can go say hi to them. They're super nice people. But it also, if you are interested in working at the homeless shelter, it's a great way to come out and meet some of the people that will be in the shelter as well.
When you say working, is it paid?
It's not, it's all volunteers.
Oh, you can get.
I'm sorry?
Can.
I'm Angie.
Okay. You wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you. My name's Tom Taylor. I'm part of the voter integrity group here for Harford County. And tomorrow is, of course, the big day. There have been problems that they've been noticing on what's known as the ballot marking devices. These are the electronic machines, flipping votes. One thing that you can do is if you utilize those, a lot of people are still using the paper ballots, which is a good thing. But if you utilize the ballot marking machines, pull your phone out. While you're in there, take a picture of the screen.
That's illegal.
No, it's not. It's not. No.
Don't do that because your vote might get thrown out.
I've been informed and as an observer.
Well, then ask your election judge.
You can take, while you're right there at your machine, you can take a picture of that, take a picture of your ballot. If there's any discrepancy, you can bring it to the chief judge and say, hey, listen, the machine, I put in this, the machine printed this out, here's the photographs. All right, and you're allowed to do that while you're right there at the machine. Now, of course, you can't sit there and take a video anywhere around. There's also a hotline number that if you notice anything, and they say if you see something, say something, there's a hotline number I can give you guys. This will put you in touch with the lawyers that are out there that are gathering information on this stuff. But if you have any problems at all while you're voting, contact the chief judge and let them know.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? If not, then the meeting is adjourned at